Welcome back to Morning Coffee. I am Mark Cook, and here we are with our resident astrologer. She is Christina Celona. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning.
Welcome back again.
Thank you.
And we're in a positive frame of mind. We are in a positive aspect, right? Is that kind of the right way? Yesterday something happened. Right? Tell me about it.
Well, there's always something.
Well, there's always something happening, but yesterday
something
cool happened yesterday.
Well, we have a nice friendly aspect yesterday between Mercury and Uranus. And so Mercury rules over our communications and our intellect and things like that. And when it links up with a planet like Uranus, we can have these sudden flashes of insight or these awakening moments or these aha moments. And I actually found that to be true in my real life. Or in my personal life.
Right.
Yeah, this is not real life.
Right. Well, it is real life, but
yeah.
I know what you're saying, that you were able to apply it kind of directly to what was going on in your life.
Yeah, and it really was like, boop, this thing that kind of came out of nowhere that I was like, finally, searching for something and without looking when I was least expecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other things that can happen with an aspect like that is like maybe we could meet a new friend or somebody that could be a potential lover, even because Mercury's in the sign of Leo right now, the sign of romance and love affairs and things like that. Also, maybe you ran into an old friend or had a conversation that sparked something new, or new ideas. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of creative energies right now.
Okay, so basically, it sounds like things were aligned to kind of show different options, right? It's almost
that's a good way to put
it. Different things are now kind of showing themselves as we get into August. You're saying that that's going to set us up for a time of transition in the fall.
Yeah, we have a lot going on once we get through the summer.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we're going to finish out the summer and then how that's going to transition into the fall.
Perfect. Well, as I've said before, most of 2016 has been a lot of reviewing. It started out that way and things kind of got off to a slow start. And there's a few different reasons for that, if you will. First of all, we have a lot of transitional energies. And so 2016 is really a transitional year, a year to wrap things up. It's also a number 9 year in numerology. So again, signifying endings before we get to a new beginning. Mm-hmm. So this year may have, like I said, been a slow start, lots of backtracking, lots of problem solving, troubleshooting, all this kind of stuff, transitioning, altering things, So once we get into August and September's really a game changer. We definitely will see an energy shift once we get into September.
And that's a positive thing, right? When you talk about an energy shift like that, you're talking about...
Well, at least we'll start having some forward movement. Most of us have noticed probably that 2016, there's been a lot of endings, and as I even mentioned before, we've even lost so many iconic people.
Right.
It really is like the end of an era and the end of a cycle before a new one begins.
So I think what I was thinking was that it was almost like a stagnation, but it's not. It's not stagnant because things are changing and things are happening, but it's a very unsettled... It's a very uncertain, unsettling time.
Yeah, because things are in flux, and nothing's certain, and nothing's for sure. But the universe isn't setting us up to be like, here, sit here, hurry up and wait. It's really like, here's an opportunity, or we should have been using this time as an opportunity to basically get our ducks in a row and get our act together.
Like reevaluate?
Yeah, and to put things in place so that when the energy just does shift, we can move forward and we're not stuck trying to catch up.
Right.
We've had all this time. The universe will be like, hey, I've given you basically 9 months. And I taught a class in the beginning of the year about the energies of 2016, and we kind of came to the conclusion that basically for 9 months it was almost like a woman preparing to give birth.
Okay.
And it really is. We will feel the energy shift in the 9th month, on the 9th day, in a 9 year. So it was pretty remarkable that the universe sets it up like that.
That's cool. So we might be able to see, now that we're aware of it, right? Because a lot of us, we're not aware of these types of things happening in the universe. Now that we're aware of it, we might see this next month things start to build and things start to
Yeah.
really show themselves,
That's
right?
like your last chance to really kind of put things in place.
To get your S together?
Yeah.
It's like the last chance. Get it together, people!
Yeah,
You're
get
running
it
out of
together.
time!
That's
It's really an interesting way to look at it because, you know, how do we apply, like, our election process and our political process just happens to fall in this year of great transition and all this stuff? Like,
Well, it's very telling. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see it in that, how regardless of what your political views are or whatever, I mean, you could really see that there's a change and there's a shift.
Yeah.
And there's also like a collective awakening, too.
Right.
Where people are like I said, no matter what side you're on, people on both sides are like fed up with status quo type stuff.
Right. Well,
You
and I
know?
think you're seeing a lot of people that were never involved in politics before finally having a voice and voicing something, whether it's supporting Bernie Sanders, which they never supported a candidate before, or supporting a guy like Donald Trump, right? Because he's different. He's not established.
Or a woman.
Or supporting Hillary Clinton for the sheer fact that she could break this glass ceiling and shatter it to the, you know, to the highest degree.
Yeah.
You're right. There's a lot of different things.
And it
kind
means
of-
different things to different people, but the point is the energy's all the same. We
Right.
just, you know, experience it a bit differently
Yeah.
individually.
It's kind of it's so all right. So let's follow this along here because it's kind of crazy. So September, you see the things really starting to come to fruition. They start to change, and
Well,
that's
we'll definitely start to have some forward movement.
well. Then we start to have forward movement,
Mhm.
right? That's what I meant to say. But the election is in November,
Yeah.
so. Is it a situation where the forward momentum will continue through the rest of the year, or is this an opportunity
think
where it
so.
could change?
Well, like I said, this is a year where everything's in constant flux.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of changes and alterations being done all year long. And like I said, this means different things to different people, but we can apply it all in our own lives individually.
Right.
You know, like I said, there's been a lot of problem solving and you know,
Right,
trying
figuring
to
out,
troubleshooting, and
troubleshooting,
things, yeah,
right.
on a lot of levels, and an improvement in our systems and our processes and our procedures. I've been saying that all year, and I see it in every aspect of life, whether you're talking in the political stage, or you're talking in a business perspective, in our own personal lives, health-wise or something. You know,
Right.
you can kind of see it on every level of life.
This is amazing how this, like, really, you know that I didn't know anything about this stuff
Yeah.
before we've started sitting down and talking on a regular basis, and I'm just so fascinated by how it all applies.
Yeah.
And like you know, we've talked about your energies and stuff before. Like, you're so in tune with it. How do you help? Like how do you help yourself deal with having so much of that knowledge? And I'll just break it down real quick. Like, you came in today, and I was like, "How are you?" And you were like, "I'm cool, but I've got a lot of stuff
Yeah.
kind of happening." And I was like, "All right, like, I hope it's all good, right?" And you were like, "Well, it's life stuff, like,
Yeah,
right?
it's life.
It's just
Life
life
is
stuff. It's not necessarily terrible, but it's not the greatest stuff in the world either."
I always say, like, astrologers don't get the hall pass. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right,
Like,
right.
we
So
still
how do you-
experience
How do
these
you
energies
deal with it?
too.
Because you're so much more in tune with it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of good things about astrology, and I think I may have mentioned this last time, is one of the most it's a tool, really.
Right.
It's like a blueprint or a map or a compass or something like
Right.
that, you know? So I think it's important to use it as a tool. The other thing is like, it's really good for self-awareness. You know, and I
Right.
find more and more people really, I don't care how old you are, you could be like in your 50s and 60s and still really not have
The
that
self-awareness.
much self-awareness.
Yeah.
So astrology is a good tool for that. It's also a good tool, like, I feel like, if somebody's going through a rough time, right? And they get a reading, you can at least see when it will end, like the light at the end of the tunnel,
Right.
you know what I mean? And even down the line, maybe like an overview of like the larger lesson,
Right.
you know,
Right.
for that hard time.
Have-
Because most of our growth really does come through struggle
Right.
and rougher times,
Right.
you know
and
what
it makes
I mean?
sense. Yeah. It makes
So-
sense that way.
Yeah.
I think that I feel like I almost like feel compassion for you because I know you're so in tune with it that it's got to be harder to deal, right? Like, when you know that certain aspects are happening in the universe that none of us humans can control, and maybe a family member is acting a certain way. You know why, but you can't necessarily
change it,
or just be like, oh, that's because, those two planets are aligned, or this thing's happening in the universe, so okay, I'll just deal with it, right? Because you're still a human being,
right, and you still have like those certain emotions and feelings and all that. Yeah, of course, but at least you have a bit more understanding, and to know. And also, I always say how we can sort of like elevate the vibration, as I said, astrology is the language of energy, right? So we can have like the low vibration of the same energy or a higher vibration of the same energy. Most of us fall somewhere in the middle,
right?
Or like this.
No, that makes sense because people have different varying degrees of language skills. Some people speak very well, other people can't
or
speak at all.
Or varying degrees of like personal evolution.
Okay. Okay. Well, we were equating it to the language, though, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many different styles, dialects, accents, right? Even within English per se.
Yeah.
Same as for Spanish, same as for French, Italian. All languages have different. They're all the same language, but there's different aspects.
Or different ways to say the same thing.
And different ways to say the same thing, and the same applies to astrology.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my take on a particular transit or aspect may be slightly different from another astrologer's. A good friend of mine that's an astrologer, we go back and forth all the time, and although our style is a bit different, it's still complementary.
Right. And that's that's what I'm saying is like you can get together with a team of astrologists. You're all talking about astrology.
Right.
Right? But you can all have different opinions or
or different take on
it. Right.
Slightly different, but it still has to be under like a certain parameter.
Right. And I think that this is cool because a lot of people don't understand really what the deal is with astrology, right?
Yeah,
they know some pieces of it, but not really all.
Yeah,
of it.
most people are only familiar with like their sun sign, which
seeing their sign.
I'm a Sagittarius, or I'm a Pisces,
right.
And then there's like all these other things that go into it, really.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're going to learn more about those things coming up because I got to take a break.
Okay.
You see how perfect that segue was?
Absolutely.
Did you do that on purpose? She did it on purpose. We got to take a quick break here on Morning Coffee. We'll be right back with Christina Celona. Stick around.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Our cook. It normally says it at the bottom. It doesn't say it. But it does say it's morning coffee on the Radio Vision Network, and that's pretty cool. Sitting next to Christina Celona. And we're talking about the stars, baby. We're talking about astrology. We're talking about a lot of different cool things that are happening in the universe right now. And one of the things that's happening this year, which is totally crazy, man, it's like totally wild, is that we have another eclipse this year than we normally do. Normally there's 2 eclipses. This year there's a third.
Well, they normally come.
Yeah, this is you. You explain this, not me. You tell us what's going on.
Well, we have what astrologers call eclipse season. So they happen a couple times a year, like twice a year, and they come in pairs: full moon, lunar eclipse, new moon, solar eclipse. And this summer, we're having 3. So again, it kind of shows you the universe's way of putting us in line, basically. Like,
explain that. What does that mean?
Eclipses are very significant in astrology. They kind of accelerate time. And what I mean by that is, one of the examples I always use is, like, we're kind of we're going through our life, this is happening, that's happening. Right. Eclipses come along and they kind of like shift gears a bit, It's like, real quick, one time I was in Arizona, so I went on a Grand Canyon tour. We go to the bottom of the Grand Canyon where we're on this Native American tour and everything, and we're in this van, and so the tour guide, he says, this road, we used to always go this way, but we had all this rain, which we normally don't get, so it washed away the road, put all these boulders, blocked the way, and now we have to take this path.
Okay.
So eclipses kind of do that in our life. It's like we're going around on this road, and now suddenly something may be eclipsed in our life, like literally, like taking out of our life.
It's like when you're driving down the road you always drive down, and then all of a sudden it's closed, and you got to go detour, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. And that's the universe's way of really getting us on the right path,
So give me a little bit. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's we're kind of like on the surface right now. So let's get into it. An eclipse is simply the cutting off of the sun and the light, right? It creates darkness. So what is it?
It creates a focus point of light.
Okay, so explain that piece of it, because that is a part of why.
So what it means symbolically is, like I said, the lunar eclipse is a full moon, right? So something is kind of highlighted at the time and perhaps comes to an ending. Like all full moons really bring a culmination or a turning point. So an eclipse is just like a full moon or a new moon on steroids, let's say. They're very powerful.
And how fast does the eclipse happen?
Well, symbolically or like in real life?
Well, in real life, because I think like people are used to the movies where they see the eclipse and like they see the sun and then it happens really fast. It's like so fast.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen that fast.
Right, it can take some time. It could take a couple hours or something. But symbolically, what it means in our lives is, like I said, it's like our path kind of shifts a little bit, and the universe kind of gets us where we need to be and where we're destined to go. And a lot of times around eclipse time, and I always get like the texts and the emails, and people want readings and stuff like that because the energy's so heightened.
Right.
And everybody's like, what's going on? I need.
So wait, so this is happening in coming up,
yeah,
right?
Coming up.
At the same time, well, this year is in all of that.
You see, there's no accidents in the universe. There's no coincidences. It really does set it up.
Wow. Okay.
For things to. But some people experience at eclipse time, just like sudden changes. Like I said, something could be literally eclipsed out of your life, like a relationship ends, or somebody moves away, or a job ends. And like I said, lunar eclipses kind of signify more endings, but for
An
a new
ending
beginning.
leads to a new beginning, right? Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I just got caught in a thought
Yeah,
there.
I know. So I was thinking.
I
of
was
this.
thinking about something, and I was like, wait a second, what you talking about? No, we got it, so that's good.
So we can see in one's chart, when you look at your own personal chart, where do those eclipses fall? This will be the parts in your life that's going to be energized for that year, basically.
Okay. I think what I want to ask you is that, does eclipse season, does it always coincide with hurricane season? And is there,
No, not
is there a
necessarily.
connection?
Well, there's always a...
Because we talk about the universe controlling water and weather and a lot. We talk about that. So
Astrology was like the oldest form of weather prediction.
that's right. First,
You know.
we talked about first weatherman before.
Somebody had a good point, and I forget who it was. It was another astrologer that kind of specializes in that sort of thing, like climate stuff. But just saying, since Uranus went into Aries in the last few years, and how wicked the storms have been, and like how windy it's been, and stuff like that, you know?
Windy at night, which it has never been before that I can remember. Like, right? Like, at night, winds normally die down. I feel like, and I noticed it, what night was it? Just not too long ago, how windy it was at night. I was like, what is going on here?
Well, I just moved recently, so now I live in the woods where there's trees surrounding me, so now I really take notice of the wind and trees bending, and I'm like, oh my.
Yeah, well, and you're right, you mentioned the storms. You see
they are more fierce
they're
and
faster
unpredictable.
and more powerful.
And that's a Uranus and Aries type of energy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is unpredictable and fast.
Unsettling, like
It's an
those.
unsettled energy.
Look at the other night. What was it? Was it Tuesday night? They didn't call for any rain, and next thing you know, we had all these crazy
It's like a downpour,
storms.
yeah.
Yeah, these crazy storms in the area that came through, knocked out power for tens of thousands of people, did all sorts of damage. I mean, and this is basically a result of an unsettled universe.
Yeah, I mean, we can see Uranus and Aries and Pluto and Capricorn from 2012 to 2015, you know, they were in a really tense aspect. So they were the agents of change and evolution and revolution and things like that, you know, and we saw this for these last few years of all these different changes and upheaval and turmoil. I mean, you see it on the world stage. You have like the Arab Spring and all these different political things.
Well, this is what I'm thinking.
So
like,
this is the transitional year.
Well, thank
really.
goodness. Thank goodness it finally came, right?
Well, you know, we're not completely out of the woods, but like I said, this is a year where it's not as intense, but we still have to kind of transition and fluctuate from all of those changes that have already taken place.
I mean, this is so difficult because, you know, it has such a direct impact on us and what we're doing, but yet we can't call a meeting and be like, yo, could you guys like chill out and leave us alone a little bit? Like we're just subject to all of their universal whims. That's not fair. That's not fair to me.
Well,
so
then it sounds a bit too fatalistic.
I have to come to you and kind of bridge those gaps, right?
Well, and then we can see, well, where is this happening in our lives within our own charts? You know, you can see where those changes have taken place and are still yet to take place. And
so, if I was somebody that wanted to get in touch with you and wanted to do that, how would I do that?
You would go to my website, spellboundastrology.com.
See what I did there? It was a nice little perfect segue
awesome.
for you. You're welcome. Now, I'm thinking that with the way things are going to be happening in the fall, that really we should be very optimistic. Okay, we have the things happening with the eclipse, right, and being eclipse season. We have this transition time that's kind of happening in a way that we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel almost as the ninth month approaches. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with all of this stuff?
Well, like I said, it's a good time. Use the rest of the time you got left until September to like get organized. And that can mean a lot of different things. You know, if you're cleaning out your closets or organizing your house or you're putting your systems and processes in place for businesses and things like that, you know. But you want to get things to where you want them, how you want them.
So get to work.
And, yes.
So is that what
You've
you're saying
had
is get
all
to
year.
work?
What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think honestly, it's really hard when you hear this stuff. My first reaction is like, well, crap. Everybody should just stay in bed all day, right? Like, so that we don't have to deal with this, like this stuff that we really don't have any control over. Like, I never realized that there was so much happening that's so.
There's always something happening in the
so,
universe.
but that we don't have any control over.
Well,
right?
we don't have any control about the
I'm a
motion
control
of the
freak. I need the control.
We don't have any control over the motion of the planets, but what we do have control over is our reactions and our actions.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
and how we handle
but
this.
I have felt.
Once you're aware of it a little
I've
bit,
told you that
can go back and
I've
say,
felt out of control with that too. Right. I've mentioned that recently. I feel like I don't have control of that either. So really, I should just be staying in bed all day, right? And everyone out
because
there would be better off for it.
If you stayed in bed.
If I stayed in bed all day.
No, we would miss you.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
No, but I mean, like I said, we've had all year, right? So a lot of people may have been shuffling around, trying to move forward, where the universe wasn't really in alignment
ready
with that,
for me.
You know, so instead we're all complaining and moaning and groaning because nothing's moving forward. When really you've been given the time to get your act together.
All right.
That goes for me too. I mean, I don't get a hall pass just because I know about it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We're
well,
still human.
It actually makes it harder for you. That's what I was saying earlier. Is because you are so in tune with it and you do understand it and know about it.
It doesn't make it harder. I feel really grateful, honestly, every day. I do. Just to be shown different things. It's not just astrology. Like, it's I almost live in two different worlds at times.
Do you look at it more as like life guidance?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So is there almost like a ritual aspect to it? Every morning, do you do a certain thing that puts you in tune with that, or am I now getting a little too like personal or deep or whatever into your
perhaps, but
okay. But it's just I think it'd be interesting to people to know, like, maybe if they could change their morning routine, maybe the rest of their day would go better, and maybe there's something that you do that's right that could help somebody.
Gratitude's a big thing.
So you wake up, the first thing you do is say thank you.
Yeah, or maybe not the first thing, you know. Of course, the first thing I'm like, oh, let me get the coffee.
Right.
You know?
Well, again, you're a human being.
Yeah,
right.
you know. But yeah, and then I look around and I think about, you know, like some really great things. Like I said, I live in the woods and I'm in the forest and I have all these huge windows and I look out and I'm like, wow.
This is cool.
Yeah.
So I think.
And I look at my little guy, my little 6-year-old, and I'm like, man, I'm so lucky.
Yeah, and I think I think there's the important message. That's the important message. Find something in the morning while you're still getting your day started, just to be grateful for, and just to be thankful for, and it's going to change your whole mindset for the whole entire rest of the day. Oh, and drink a glass of water. Because that's something that most people don't do that could really change your whole entire day.
Well, that's pretty much all I drink, water or coffee.
Is while you're having that cup of coffee, drink a glass of water with it too. Honestly, I started doing it. It changes everything. It's really weird. It wakes up your organs. You feel better.
Do you put lemon in it?
I sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And it's like, it depends on whether there's a lemon in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Really,
And if it's already cut.
And if it's already cut, right? And how lazy I'm feeling. But anyway, but you're right. If people can kind of change some of the simple ways they wake up, it could have an impact on their whole entire day. And
I mean, attitude is everything, really.
Yeah.
You know, because life is life. And I try to tell this to my little guy, too. I'm like, you know, if he's mad about something or, you know, just in his little guy world or whatever.
I mean, he's 6. He shouldn't be mad about too many things, right?
Yeah, you would think. You know, but, you know, and I'm like, attitude is everything. Like I said, life is life and life comes at you and it's never perfect and, you know, there's always challenges and things like that. But really, it's like, how do we handle them?
Well, and a lot of times it's the understanding that these things are out of our control. And you react.
Well, most things are out of our control, other than our own attitude, our own reactions and actions.
Right. Of course, that's what I was saying. I don't know what you guys are thinking, right? I mean, come on. But Christina, this has been cool. I think this was great today. Honestly, I feel like I learn more and more and more about this, you know, every time we sit down. So by next year, I'm going to be an expert.
Be a pro.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing readings for people. That'll be something else.
Out of business.
So if people want,
I don't want to teach you too much.
No, come on now. I'm not going to put you out of business. What I'm going to do is I'm going to promote your business right now.
That sounds
what
good.
I want you to do is I want you to look over into camera 1. Don, throw me a camera 1, And Christina, just tell everybody about yourself.
Spellboundastrology.com. You can go on my website. You can check out my blog, Tales of Lunacy. You can sign up for free. You'll receive that in your email and also be up to date on any other events and things that I have going on. My monthly workshops, energy work, all that kind of stuff. Spellboundastrology.com.
Yeah, and check out Spellbound Astrology on Facebook. You got a great Facebook page up there for the business and all that. So just search out Spellbound Astrology, and you're going to be able to find and connect with Christina. And I urge you to do it because, look, there's a lot of different astrologers and psychics and all these different people that you can talk to. But this young lady right here knows her stuff and can really help you and talk to you in a really kind and helpful way. So we want to thank you for being here again, and we're going to see you next week.
Thank you for having me. It's always so much fun. I love it.
Well,
thanks for inviting me back.
Hey, no problem. We're glad to have you, kiddo. We're glad to have you. So, hey, that's going to do it for us today on Morning Coffee. I want to thank everybody for watching us this morning, and we will be back tomorrow. Have a great day.